This is the short video COP 2220 week 9. In this video we're gonna talk about arrays and we're gonna talk about for loops. That is also gonna cover some terminology and simple names of features which will be mentioned in a week 9 quiz. We already learned about if structure, if else structure, and we learned about while loops. While loop and do while loop. Pre-test and post-test loops. That loops used to run a piece of code repeatedly in a situation when you don't know ahead how many times that piece of code should be run. It's all based on a condition, either user input or some sensors or some variables values changes. It's all the conditions which might change during the execution of your code. In case you do know how many times you should run a certain piece of code, if it's determined by the task, if somebody is asking you to write a code which does something so many times, then you should use for loop. It's a very useful and helpful feature to help you not to write a very long program. The for loop looks like this. You need a counter for loop. So you define the counter and initialize it. You can start it with any value. You can initialize that variable separately. Doesn't really matter. That brackets will have three statements. The starting statement, so your counter for your loop will start from 10 in this case. You put a condition, let's say it's less than 100. You can put any condition you need according to the problem you run. And then you put increment. You can put I++, that means it's gonna be the same like this one, or you can put any other number. So if I calculate correctly, in this case the counter I will start with value of 10, will run until I is 99, less than 100, because I is integer. And each iteration I will be changed, cout I, and well, it will be changed by 3. That expression equals I plus 3. If we execute that, that's about right. So the next step I will be already 100, which is unacceptable, and we are done. The program exits. Let's, for example, just for better understanding, write a same exact loop only using while structure. We're gonna start it with 10, while j less than 100, we're gonna see out j and L, and we will have to increase our counter. Let's comment this one and execute. This is the same exact result. These two pieces of code, this one and this one, they are identical. But people are using for loops when they know how many times the loop should run, and while type loops when it's unknown. And it's a slightly less statements in the for loop, because that statement is moved to the core of the loop, to the description of the loop, and initialization of the counter also inside that for loop description. There is nothing else behind for loop. It's the same tool as many others you have for solving the problems. It's just to make your code cleaner, shorter, and easy to understand, which equals less mistakes. One more feature I would like to add to this week studies. I would like to talk a minute about arrays. Arrays in programming languages is a grouped variables of the same type. Let's say we have integer array of 10 instances called ARR. That means that declaring this array, we are declaring 11 variables, because it always starts, the indexing starts with 0 in C++. Be careful, some other languages might have a different rules. But we can access array members just using a simple notation, using that square brackets. Equals array 0 plus array 1. Cout array 2. If we run this code, we should get a clear answer of 6, which is about right. A member with index 0 added to the member with index 1, and it's printed on the screen. Please use that when it's appropriate, when you know that you're gonna use a certain amount of variables and you know how many. You can, instead of declaring 11 variables in our case, we can always use this integer I in the array notation equals to 0, I less than equal to 10, I plus plus. And we can do array of I equals I squared. And we can do another for loop. Integer j. We can use I again, it doesn't really matter, from 0, j less than equals to 10, j plus equal to, let's say we want only even members of this array, and we're gonna see out R J. Just for easy to see purpose, I put NL in each. Six zero, I believe it's 6 is our first array member. It's from here. Let's comment this line and restart in order not to confuse you much with that. So we have first array member is 0, second is 1, but we're printing the third one, right? We have every other member. Then 16, 36, so on and so forth. And I believe the last member is not defined. Please type this code, run it with different values, and check how array works. Arrays could be integer, character, string arrays, double, of course. Any basic types could be grouped into arrays. Send me any question you have. I will be sending the final exam study questions soon. Please complete all the extra point problems, and if you are not happy with any of your grade, email me. We'll deal with that. I will help, I promise. Thank you.